Hi everyone, I know you can't see me, but my name is Newell Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to harvest the castings from this VermiBag Max. Now it is solid in the bottom here. I've waited way too long to do this, and that's why we're going to try to rush this a little bit. We're going to get a lot of castings out of here. So the first thing I need to do is unzip it. And by the way, I did vacuum around this. If you have one of these, oh, there's a spider. I was going to say, you are going to find spiders love these systems. All right, hopefully you guys can see okay in there. Let's just zoom in just a little bit. Oh, we can, there we go. Hopefully that's gonna focus. All right, there we go. All right, so I've got that open. That was pretty easy, I have to say. Having these little skirts on these make it a little bit easier. Now we need to harvest. Now this is very compacted in here, I could tell. You can see this material that's coming out really hard. I don't harvest nearly as often as I should, and this is gonna sound ridiculous, but this is the hardest camera setup I have. As you can tell, I'm not in video, but also it's really hard to set up my camera because I do not have a low tripod. So as I'm harvesting, I'm going to talk this through here. So this is very compacted. It's very hard. I don't have, somebody had suggested, and this is a great idea, a rubber mallet and hitting the side with a rubber mallet to knock the material loose. Now, I don't have that because, well, it's in my other car. I use that when I go camping. And my son has the car at college at the moment, so I don't have my rubber mallet like I normally would. But look at this. You can just see this material coming out. This is just fantastic castings. I don't know if you can see it or not on the camera. It's really hard to tell, but this stuff looks fantastic. This is what I typically get out of these systems, or these really, really good castings that are just perfect. But they're a little bit hard to harvest when they become this compacted. I really should be harvesting this probably every 3 to 5 months with how much stuff I put in here and how often I do this. But look at this, you can just see this is a big chunk right here, but look at this, it just breaks right apart. It looks fantastic. This material is the right amount of moisture. There's not a lot of stuff in it. Here's a piece of plastic right here. It looks like that maybe made it through. I'm going to put that off to the side. I try not to let plastic get in the way in here. But this stuff just looks phenomenal. I mean, really, this is what I really like about these bag systems. They are a little bit difficult to harvest, but it's a lot easier to harvest than my other systems. And I'm just digging up here into the system now. I've got my arm in. But you can see it just continues to come out as I scrape away at it. This is just fantastic looking material. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move some of this behind the zippered section. Open this up a little bit. I have to say, as I said, this is really hard to film for me. I don't have a tripod that goes low enough, really, so this is just sitting on a box recording this. So it's not where I want it to be, but I just don't have the material. And wow, as I put pressure on the wood board here, it's squeaking where the screws are up top. I'm about to glue that together at some point so it stops making noise like that. All right, more material we've got. This is about a medium mortar tray, I think it is. And so far we've got probably filled it up about halfway. I'm hoping to get a little bit more out of here. And by the way, I'm harvesting this. I don't use a lot of my own castings. And it's not the fact that I don't want to, it's just the fact that I can't grow a garden to save my life. Because of all the deer here, they will chew all of this stuff, anything that I grow up. Oh, here we go. Here's a bone that made it through the system. So for those that are curious, bones will not break down in a compost system this way. You've got to chew them up with a grinder of some sort and break them apart before they will break down. This is even, I mean, I could break it apart, but that's about it. I'm going to put that again off to the side. As I actually am getting these castings together for a friend whose wife is a master gardener. She is incredibly excited about getting these castings. And I'm excited that she's going to use them for her garden. I already gave out another set of castings to one of my other friends, and they are using them in their gardens. All right. Oof. All right, more is coming out. Now, take out some of that frustration. Look at that nice big chunk right here. Again, a little bit of plastic in it. We're going to go ahead and get that out. I've got a spider roaming down by my legs here. And by the way, for those of you that are new to composting, especially with worms in your house, you are going to get spiders. Let's see if I can grab him Actually, I don't know if you can see him over here. Is he in camera? He's over here on the wood board. Let's just see. Nope, he ran away. All right. No big deal. But as I'm doing this, I'm also sort of looking for any plastics. As I said, like here's another piece of plastic that made it through. I'm going to just throw that off to the side. And I try to, I don't know what I had that was plastic at one point, but yeah, I get these little tiny plastic strips every once in a while, and I cannot seem to figure out what they were in, as I usually try to only compost stuff that doesn't have plastic in it, and I don't grind up anything that has plastic. So it's something that I didn't notice at some point that had plastic in it. Hopefully there's not too much more in here. Oh, hold on, another piece. I mean, see, this definitely also went through my shredder, and somehow it was coated. This might have been some mail trash or something like that, but you know, hey, as long as the majority of this stuff is good. Oh, here's another piece of this. I don't know if this is really plastic or not. This bag right here, this was probably a compostable bag of some sort that just didn't break down because it wasn't hot enough. All right, and there's also a couple. Oh, man, I'm finding more and more of this stuff. This is why I started only really composting with cardboard that I knew was just sheets instead of these other things that could have plastic in it. All right. Now right now I'm probably about 5 to 6 inches up in this bag. I'm going to go ahead and knock the sides again. There we go. Got some more down. And we are looking at this mortar tray here. We are probably 80% full. So we're getting there. Oh, here's some avocado shell. Wow, that made it through. All right, I'm going to take that out. That can go back in the system though. But here we go. You got some avocado shell from the bin. All right. That can definitely go back in. All right. I'm going to hit the other side a little bit. You can see these big chunks, they just break right apart. I mean, this stuff is really, it's the right amount of moisture that you want for your castings. It's not overly moist, but it's also not too dry where it's not microbial at all. I'm just trying to make some more room in here as we knock this some more. All right, now I think this is going to be enough. We're going to start eventually, we're starting to get some of the cardboard coming out now, and that means the center section is about ready to collapse down. I don't want that to happen, because once that happens, it becomes an issue as you start having everything fall through the center. So I'm just trying to break up some of these clumps right now, but these castings look great per normal from my VermiBag here. Urban Worm Bag does the same thing, but these are great. So we got about I think this is, I said, a medium cement tray, mortar tray. And yeah, we're pretty good. We're about right up here in the system. I don't know if you can see how high that is. That's about 6 to 8 inches in there. So that's a good amount of material to remove. Now that we did that though, I got to take off my glove here so I can zip this back up. And this is the part you got to be, this is what's great about the system, is this zipper works really well. When I can, there we go, just got to grab the corner. Got to hug the bag here to get around it. Look at that, it's all zipped up and it's closed back off. Now, this system is going to collapse down when we go to feed it. Let's go up top and go ahead and feed this system and see how it's doing. All right, here we are on top of our bag. So let's go ahead and open this up. We're going to collapse this down, and I have a very, very special feeding for this system. So first off, let's just see if this already did collapse. It did not, but there's a lot of moisture on here. We've got a lot of springtails. This looks like a very healthy system. So we're going to dig in here a little bit before we hope this collapse down, which is just going to happen from the fact that we just hollowed out the bottom half. I need to clean off my gloves at some point too. Got stuff all over them. Again, I do recommend gloves. So, all right, let's just take a look in here. Yeah, this is really, really nice material. You can see the worms. Oh, wow, actually, there's got a couple worms in here that are making some cocoons right there. Those are breeding. That's not protein poisoning. Those are breeding worms. So we'll go ahead and put them off to the side. They're making some cocoons. They're very happy in here. That's a good sign. Lots of worms in here. They look very healthy. This system I did add the pre-compost to, and I think that's really helpful. Now we've got a very special feeding going in here. Okay, this is that shirt. I'm going to go ahead and remove this now. This is primarily plastic that's left, unfortunately. Let's just see, make sure we get all the worms out of there. All right, maybe I'll put this off to the side and I will make sure that there's no worms in there, and then I'll go ahead and throw this out. This is what happens when you throw in a shirt. If you don't cut off the seams, all the seams are just plastic, even though it says 100% cotton, and this stuff just never breaks down. Now there is a little bit of cotton left on here, but again, 90% of the shirt is gone, so that's a great sign. I'm going to go ahead and throw this off to the side. As I said, I will go through that and try to get all the worms or rescue anything that's in there. Let's just see. Like this right here, this will break down still, this piece of the shirt. That's still cotton. That'll break down. It just takes some time. I just want to make sure I get all the stitching out. The stitching is what won't break down. It looks like we're good on that. All right, so with that, we can see this system is doing pretty well. Let's just go ahead and collapse this down now. See? All this stuff's going to fall down in there. They're going to continue working on all that, but we're going to collapse this down. Move some of this stuff back to the center here, and look at that. We've got a whole lot more space in here. All right. More space for more worms, more compost. And the first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to go ahead and load this up. We're going to just break apart some of these pieces right in here. We've got still, yeah, this thing's squeaking a lot more. I'm going to have to tighten up these screws, I think. We're just going to kind of break all this stuff, loosen everything up, get everything aerated in here. There's also some dry sections, it looks like, right over here. It's a little bit dry. And this system just looks great, though. We're going to go ahead and move. All right, now that we've got that out of the way, we've kind of, oh, hold on, big patch right here. Man, I really do need to tighten these screws. All right, I will do that after this video. I'll tighten all those screws down so you don't hear this squeaking so much. All right, now what we're going to do is, as I said, we have a very special feeding for this system, but this is going to require a little bit of extra effort on my part, because we're going to go ahead and kind of empty out this center section, and we're going to add a whole lot of cardboard to this. And I'm going to go ahead and add, I just realized I don't have my cardboard over here, so I got to grab that first. But we're not going to get this cardboard wet because we're going to have, it's probably going to have a lot of water coming in very soon. So we're going to add a couple big scoops of my cardboard here. And this is the cardboard that's gone through my cross-cut shredder instead of the new micro cut that I have. I'm trying to use up all this paper, by the way. There we go. That should be more than enough for this, hopefully. And I am also going to have a catch for this underneath. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in some of that. Actually, we're going to move some of this to the side. Actually, I was thinking about putting in some other stuff, but no, I think we're just going to throw in the special food that I have here. And that is this half a watermelon right here. So this went bad on my counter within like a day. I've had it in the freezer. This is frozen solid. This is just going to thaw out and just melt into this. And that's the plan, is to actually just have this slowly melt away, and it's going to saturate all the cardboard in there. We're going to add some more cardboard at the surface here, actually. Oops, almost knocked my light over. Above this, because we need to cover this up pretty well. But this has been sitting in my freezer for a while now. It's just, it was a really large piece. I didn't feel comfortable putting it into my systems the way it was until I hollowed this one out and had it collapse back down. So now this is a good time to add this. And we're going to go ahead and do that. And that is going to be kind of it for this system, I think. I don't think we're going to do a whole lot more with it. I'm debating whether I should get this wet or not. I really think that this is going to add a ton of moisture to the system. Of course, we need to, actually, you know what, there's one other thing I'm going to do here. By the way, I do have another piece to this watermelon, but I think there's, well, you know what, maybe not. This is a little bit too cold, but we'll just add that on top. That's the some of the sugars and stuff that have sort of solidified. You can see this is just very sticky even on my gloves. So yeah, no, that's what we're going to do for this. I think we're just going to put the cover back on, and we're going to let this sit. So thank you for watching. If you're curious as to other parts of my system, I've got tons of videos. I've got videos on how to use Food Cycler. I've got videos about gloves. I've got videos about other things. Check out those other videos down in by looking at my channel, worldcomposting.com or World Composting on YouTube. And let me know what you think of those videos. And leave any comments down below what you think of what you saw here today and what you thought of this harvest. This was a lot of material that we harvested today. And I'll probably harvest my other urban worm bag next video, because I need to harvest that one as well, but that one had some pre-compost in it and it needs time to settle. So thank you for watching. Check out some of my other videos down below.